Hello. Today I'm going to read the second Not a Blog post. If you've seen the first video, you know what the series is about, so let's get into it. October 9th, 2005. Has it really been 3 months since my first post? Since opening Not a Blog back in July, I've been spending half my time on the road. We took off in late July for Ireland, followed by the worldcon in Glasgow, then several additional weeks of travel through the UK. I saw my British editors in Glasgow, and again in London, had meetings with several artists that I'm working with or hope to work with, and stood in front of castles to get a more up-to-date jacket photograph. And somewhere in there, I had a wonderful lunch with some of my fellow toy soldier collectors, enjoyed the marvelous hospitality of Peter and Gilly Greenhill, and saw the coordinate molds sacred to every night sky, and partied with the wild men and hot babes of the Brotherhood Without Banners Europe, so it wasn't all business. By the time I got home, the usual mountain of mail and email awaited me, and no sooner had I dug my way out than it was time to take off again, this time for the National Book Festival in Washington, D.C. I got a great crowd at my speech, and it was a real kick, albeit somewhat intimidating, to follow John Irving, Neil Gaiman, and Tom Wolfe, all writers whose work I've admired, on the stage. Thanks to all those who turned up. Those who couldn't make it can find a webcast of my speech at the festival by following the link on my news page. Anyways, that's what I've been doing since my last entry, some of the time at least. I've also been doing a lot of tedious post-production work on Feast and several other projects, checking cover copy and correcting the maps and signing signature pages and going over the galleys and all sorts of other boring stuff. And on Friday I'm off again, headed back to England for my British book tour, and then the Lucca game and the comic show in Italy. After that, my US book tour will be looming, so I probably won't be posting here again until after Thanksgiving, if then. I warned you that I was no good at this blogging stuff. Anyway, I do hope I'll be seeing many of you in England or Italy or whatever. If I have a slightly glazed look on my face and don't seem to know what country I'm in, forgive me. It has been a long year and I'm tired. One thing before I run. I have gotten a lot of emails asking about my policies at signings. Truth is, I have only one policy. I will sign old books as well as the new one, and I will sign as many books as you bring, but only 3 at a time. If you bring more, I will still sign them all, but after the first 3, you need to go back to the end of the line to give others a chance. That's not to say there won't be other limitations. The bookshops where I am appearing may have policies of their own. Some require tickets, some will only allow me to sign books purchased at the store. Some permit photographs and some do not. Their call, not mine. So if you're thinking of going to one of the events and would like to know what rules and restrictions will be in effect, you want to call the bookstore and ask. See you there. Current mood, null. Okay, so this post tells me that I already knew this, but he's been going to worldcon since way back, since 19 years ago, and probably before that too. And you know, when you see that he's talking about following up on John Irving and Neil Gaiman and Tom Wolfe, you gotta consider as well that he wasn't nearly as popular back then as he was today. I mean, he was still a pretty well-known science fiction and now fantasy author as of 2005, since at least all the A Song of Ice and Fire books up to Storm were out, and first 2 Duncan Egg novellas, I believe, had been released. But he wasn't as big as he is now. And again, with the post-production work on Feast, and I had to come out October 9th. Feast, 4 Crows. I think I did this in the last video too. It was the 17th, okay, so it was about to come out. And signings. Some stuff about signings. I mean, I assume that that's not too different from the way things are today. Well, that was a pretty interesting post. Not too much there, but you know, it was also 3 months after his first one, and I guess he's still easing into the whole blogging thing. Anyways, see you next time. Bye.